Hi there, and welcome to this edition of ChamberSOUTH Spotlight. I'm your host, Tiffani Helberg, a proud board member and Vice President at Community Health of South Florida. And today, I'm super excited to be joined by my friend, Dr. Anthony Cruz. He's the president of Miami-Dade College, the Kendall campus,
That's right? Yeah, you got it.
And so you were just telling me you have some fascinating things that probably a lot of people don't realize are going on over there at the Kendall campus. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you, Tiffani, first of all, for having me on the show. Really great to be here. Yeah, so a lot of exciting things happening at the Kendall campus, particularly around the world of technology and programming and programs around technology. So actually this coming fall, we'll be offering the first bachelor's degree in artificial intelligence in the whole state of Florida. In addition to that, it'll be basically a program where you can start off with a certificate, go to an associate's degree, and then end up getting that bachelor's degree in artificial intelligence. So we're really at the cusp of what's happening in technology, making sure people in the community are getting the education they need to be able to really get those jobs that are out there that may be around now, but definitely will be around in the coming years.
Yeah, that had to be a challenge to even create that program, right?
Yes. So we have really dynamic faculty that have worked very hard on creating the curriculum, making sure that we're looking at what's happening around the country, other programs that have been created, and making sure that that program is cutting edge.
And it's important for our community. It's important for our nation. I think there's just so much, even the government doesn't know about AI right now. Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yes, it's still a very unknown area, but I think that we're going to be using it more and more. It's already being used a lot, right, in industry. And so we want to make sure that people are getting the proper education, because it's not just about the technology, but it's also the ethics behind it. It opens up a door to a lot of things that could create some ethical dilemmas for individuals. So as part of the educational process that students will get is also how to use AI in an ethical manner.
Sure. And I'm sure there are greater challenges today with getting a college education than when you and I were in school, right? Because of technology. How do you navigate that? Because there's way more savvy than we were.
Yeah. Well, I think there's many things that are happening with technology, right? I think that while it's maybe different than when we were going to school, I think it's easier in many ways to get a college education today, particularly, the ways that we offer courses, right? So it's not just about online, but it's also about what we call MDC Live, which is basically using Zoom technology to offer classes. Students are able to take those classes from wherever they are, and it's real time, so they're getting the interaction with the instructor, but also with their classmates. So things like that have kind of changed the dynamics that used to, and particularly after the pandemic. We've had where we thought everybody go back to coming to class in person. Students still, a lot of them prefer to take classes virtually.
Really?
So that's kind of changed the way that we offer the classes, the way we package classes, the way we have to think about the curriculum as well.
How long have you been at Miami-Dade College?
About 5 years now.
Oh, it seems like so much longer, like you're an institution there.
No, 5 years. I started out as the campus president at the Hialeah campus about 5 years ago. Been now at the Kendall campus for 2.5 years. And so overall, it's been a great experience in dealing with so many people in the community and trying to be as engaging as possible with obviously ChamberSOUTH and other chambers, but also other individuals in the community. Because I think it's really important for everybody to know the things that are happening at the college and how we can be more helpful to businesses in the community.
And I think you've done a great job at bridging those partnerships. Tell us how that's helped the university.
Yeah, I think it's helped a lot in the sense that when people know about what you're doing, it's increased the number of job opportunities for our students, particularly our internships as well. We started a micro internship program about 1.5 years ago. And so today we have over 60 students that are going through that and getting the experience of getting 40 hours in with an employer, getting that real world experience. And then ultimately, the employer gets somebody that they can work on a project, but as well as the student getting that experience. So that happened because of the engagement with the community, with those partners. And so now we have over 30 partners, different employers that are working with us on that micro internship just at the Kendall campus. I mean, there are many other things happening at our other 7 campuses, but just particularly at the Kendall campus.
That's tremendous. Do any of the businesses utilize the school to help educate their staff?
They do. They do. So we do have opportunities on the credit side, like certificate, degrees, but also we have a lot of continuing education programs that are tailor-made for those employers. So say an employer wants to have a particular skill for their employees to acquire, we can work with them and tailor-made make a continuing education program that can be for that employer.
Oh, I didn't know that. So,
yeah.
Like, give me some examples.
Well, it could be like, for example, somebody wants leadership training for their staff. And sometimes they don't want to, okay, well, you don't have to go actually take a class.
Yeah.
That was for credit, and you have to buy the books, and you have to go through, a 16-week semester. You can go through our continuing education department. They'll sit down with the employer and say, okay, what is it about leadership that you want your employees to learn about? Mm-hmm. And then actually craft a training that may take 3-4 weeks, depending on this. It could be even less than that, that would hit certain areas of leadership, and then those individuals could then apply in their positions. So it makes it very convenient for employers to do it in a very cost-effective way as well. It's not, it is custom made and there's some cost involved, but in comparison to sending somebody to another state or go to a conference or go to another place, those can be much more expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Or bringing in someone.
Or bringing in somebody. You're still could be paying, thousands, but tens of thousands of dollars to do that, where by creating this type of program for those employees, it can be a very cost-effective way of delivering that same type of training to them.
That's cool. And so other than AI, tell us about some of the other new programs and upcoming things you guys are developing.
Sure. So on the technology side, I'll keep on going on that a little bit because I think it's really exciting. We have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. And our cybersecurity program, which is not just offered at the Kendall campus, but at several other campuses, is nationally recognized and one of the few in the country that is a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. We also have a bachelor's degree in data analytics. And today we know that almost any industry or every industry is using data analytics to improve their business model.
Yes.
And that's something that students can come to us and get that type of training, finish their bachelor's degree, and go into the world of work and make a very good salary when they come out.
That's great. And so then tell us a little bit about how you bridge getting those students into jobs and getting the employers to recognize who's right for them.
Yeah. So I think part of it is the relationships we build with those employers. And the college has established some relationships with some of the largest employers in the country and been able to then identify the skill sets that those employers are looking for, and then making the connections. And then when the students are ready to graduate, the faculty members work very closely with those employers to showcase those students and make sure that those employers are aware of what those students can bring to the table. So in those programs I just mentioned, the placement rate is very, very high because of those relationships that we built with those employers.
That's awesome. So if you have students who are thinking about going to Miami-Dade College, what do you have to say to them? What do you have to offer?
Well, there's a world of opportunity at the college, so much that students can take advantage of. And the important thing is people of all ages. It's not just the 18-year-old that's graduating from high school. It's the 35-year-old. It's the 50-year-old. It's whatever the age, people that are looking for opportunities, the college is there for them. It's very easy to go through the process. We're an open access institution, whether you're looking at the bachelor's degree, the associate's degree, or the certificate. It's very accessible and at the same time, very affordable. The value is there. It's not about being cheap. It's really a value because our faculty are first rate, but students are getting first-rate education, great value.
Do they have to stay at the Kendall campus, or can they take classes from any campus?
Yeah, they can take classes from any campus. Most of our students will take classes not only at the Kendall campus, but some of the other campuses, depending on their schedules and what's convenient for them.
So I've been watching you on social media, and I know you do some unique things like allow students to throw a pie in your face. How do you come up with this stuff, and why do you do zany things like that?
Well, I think it's important to be relatable, and I think that makes me more relatable to our student body. And if I'm more relatable, then that means that they're going to be more relatable to our faculty and our staff and feel like the college is someplace that they can go and feel comfortable. I don't know if that's what it makes them feel, but I think that's what I'm trying to get to. and feel like I'm not going to say one of them, but I can feel like I can relate to what students are experiencing, and I want to make it something. I want to make it fun, because I think education should be fun, and it's part of the experience, the entire experience of being a student. It's not just what happens in the classroom, but it's also what happens outside the classroom that makes it special.
So I see it. You do look like you're having fun.
Oh yeah, I'm having fun, and I come up with these things because I feel like, hey. Now, sometimes when I come up with these things, people tell me, "What are you doing?"
You're going to let them throw a pie in your face?
And
what?
sometimes they're really hard. It's not just throwing. I mean, I've done this now a couple of years, and so they've really done that. But there's other things that I've done. For example, every summer, I go out to the homes of several students that are being admitted for the fall semester, and I visit them. I welcome them and congratulate them on being admitted to the college, give them some swag from the college, and have that interaction with them and or their parents. And it happens, I do about 30 visits in the summer, and that also makes people feel like, hey, that's, it's a welcoming environment. And really at the end of the day, it's about creating a sense of belonging for our students to make sure that they feel that we're a place that they can come and be part of something bigger than themselves.
Sure, absolutely. And tell us about some of the extracurricular activities that you guys have there.
Sure. So we have a wide array of different programs through Student Life. So a variety of different clubs and organizations. Students can participate in Student Government Association. There are so many different events that happen on campus, whether, even our own students that are performers, that are either music and dance, and anything in the performing arts. That's something that students can take advantage of. Students can also take advantage of going to see athletic events. So we have a full array of different sports that we offer at the Kendall campus. And so we're going to actually be starting our soccer team this fall. So we'll have a men's and women's soccer team that's going to start in the fall. And we're currently building a new soccer stadium or complex for students to take advantage of that. So we'll have men's and women's soccer, softball, baseball, men's and women's basketball, and women's volleyball. Those are the sports and they're all headquartered at the Kendall campus. But students from any campus obviously can come and partake and watch the games.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm sure as you look back at the last 5 years, you have a gazillion success stories. Mm-hmm. Tell us about a couple that pop into your head.
Yeah, I think that the micro internship program that I had just mentioned, I think is one of those that I feel very proud of. Obviously working very closely with our staff to develop that and with the partners. And so that's continuing. We started off with business internships. Now we're doing technology internships. Mm-hmm. And some students have even gotten jobs out of this experience. But more importantly, it's about these students that are starting out and making sure that they have that type of experience early on. It's not happening in their second year, it's happening in their first year, so they kind of know. Another thing that I'm really proud of is our career closet that we have on the campus. And that's an opportunity for students that need clothing to be successful, let's say in an internship interview or a job interview. They can come in, get head to toe free clothing that they can keep. All new clothing. We've done some partnerships with TJ Maxx and Perry Ellis for some discounts. We have individuals that have donated cash donations to purchase these items. And it's basically, if you go in there, it looks like a luxury type of closet that students can go in, get their clothing, and then go to that interview. And it's free of charge. The only thing that they have to do is do a resume writing and an interviewing workshop as part of the process to make sure that they're really set up for success when it comes to going for that first interview. And I took that as something that I wanted to do. I started out in Hialeah, created one there, but also created the one at Kendall. I myself struggled when I was younger to afford the clothing that I needed to be successful in an interview. And I want to create a space that students would feel really good about, right? That they would feel good about going in, getting that clothing, and coming out feeling like, hey, I can do this, right? And that's really what it's all about, is trying to set students up for success and making them feel good about themselves. So we don't ask for income, what your income is or what your financial status is, anything like that. We just want to make sure that anybody that needs it comes in, picks out their clothing, and walks out feeling great and ready for that interview.
That's tremendous and so needed, right?
For sure.
I get the philosophy.
For sure. I mean, and sometimes we kind of lose sight of this, as people that are now, professionals and everything else, and where students start out. And students start out in so many different places. Mm-hmm. We really don't know the financial background or the needs of students. And what we find out through this process is that students have a lot more need than we thought. And that's why it's important to continue, for individuals that think of this as a good idea, to get them to donate. And the more they donate, the more clothing we have, the more students we can serve. We built the closet with funding from the college, but everything inside the closet currently has been purchased with funds that have been donated by individuals in the community. So we're really thankful to several individuals and also companies that have helped us along the way to make sure that this is a reality for our students.
That's great. And when you look at the students over the last 5 years, any standouts where you're like, wow.
Oh, yeah. You mean individual students?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's so many students that I've come across and have impacted me in many ways, because I'll give you one great example of that. And there's been several of them that have, anytime we go to graduation, that's like really where you kind of start thinking through, and I'm on stage sometimes with those students, and sometimes they're like our Student Government Association officers. Anthony Valenzuela, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a council member now. I think he's like 22 or 23 years old. He's a council member here in Dade County. He is also part of his parents' real estate business. And he was our Student Government Association president at the Kendall campus before I got to Kendall. But I met him while I was at Hialeah, and started a friendship. Still continue with that friendship. He's a dynamic individual and just a great example of Miami-Dade College and with the great things that people can do when they graduate. And so graduated from and got an associate's degree from us, and then went on to the University of Florida, got his bachelor's degree recently, and now is doing amazing things in the community. But there's so many other stories like that, right? Of individuals that come, and sometimes they don't even know what's inside of them until they've gone actually through the process and going through that educational process. And they become so much more. And it's not just about, obviously, what they've learned through their classes, but also the interactions that they've had with others and what they've learned as student government officers and things like that, that really build up their leadership skills. So even at a young age, you can see that individual can do some really amazing things. Sometimes you think, oh, somebody has to be, I don't know, out there for 10 or 15 years to kind of establish themselves or make an impact in their community. I think that's not necessarily true. I think there's a lot of individuals that if they really set themselves and really think about it, they can do these kinds of things.
Yeah, and I think what you said is so true. I think so many people go into college not even sure what they're going to study, right? It's a time when you're really figuring out everything about yourself, and the burden and time pressure is there because that's the turning point, right?
It is. And sometimes they don't even know like what they're studying, but they also even know like that they can do certain things.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like your ability to interact with people, to lead. I think leadership is one of those things that is I think a lot of people have it inside of them, but you got to bring it out. And sometimes they don't even know they have it inside of them. And I think if you have a nurturing educational environment, that lends itself to bringing that out in people. And then they're like, wow, look at that. I could actually do this. I could actually be doing something that I never thought I could be. Sometimes people think they're introverts, and maybe they still are, but they learn that they can do so much more. They can get out of their shell and be so much more and be so much more impactful. More meaning more to society, right? More that they can lend it, and that they actually interact with people and make other people flourish as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And how does it make you feel to know that you're impacting so many lives?
Well, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
So I really believe that changing lives is part of my personal mission. And while I don't do it all by myself, we have great faculty, great staff, great teams that are at the Kendall campus and at the college as a whole. I feel that that's part of who I am, and always looking for ways to be able to change lives. And that's why I continue to work in higher education. That's why I love what I do. And that's why every time I get up in the morning, I know that that's going to happen in some way, one way or another. That's going to happen. And so that gives me the motivation to continue going after being in higher education now for 30 years.
Well, I see it. I think we all see it. We're grateful for your energy and your dedication to these kids, to these adults, to the community. And I do think you're changing society as a whole. So thank you for everything.
I really appreciate that, Tiffani.
Yeah.
Very nice of you.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want people to know about the college?
I think the main thing, I alluded to it before, is that we're open to everyone in the community. So whether somebody's out there that knows somebody that wants to learn English, we can help you do that. If there's somebody out there that wants to go back and retool because maybe their job, they're in an okay job, but they want to get something like a certificate that'll help them get really the next really great job.
Yeah.
We're there for them. Even people have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees sometimes want to retool. So we're there for them. And obviously the high school student that's coming out of high school, we're still, I think, the best value out there for them. We have so much to offer, not just academically, but socially, and the interactions that we're going to have with students, that I think we're there for them. So I just want to make sure people know that the college is here, and it's here for them, and we're open to the entire community. And we want to make sure the community is better educated and better informed and ready to be a better citizen and also join the workforce or improve their status in the workforce.
And that makes Miami-Dade all the more better.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you again for joining me, and thanks for all that you do.
It's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for tuning in for this edition of Chamber South. We hope that you'll join us and become part of our networking community. We have cocktail parties, we have luncheons, and it's a great chance for you to meet the movers and shakers in your community.